Travis? Dave, you must be stoked with that one, especially after a tough month and a half or so.
Yeah, Block, I'm probably more just pleased with the nature of it. Like the game for me was really one in that, I don't know what it was, 15 minutes after half time, where they never left, the ball never left our 22, and the boys just gutted it out, and that was pretty special. And I think, sometimes when you're a team that's, hasn't had a good run of late, you're a bit low on confidence, things don't work for you all the time, but it's nice to see that the fighting spirit never left us, and that ultimately set up a platform for us to win, which was good.
It is the sort of win that can build confidence and change the direction of your season a little bit, can't it?
Yeah, and then I think the back, that last sort of 30 minutes when we had our hands on the ball and started to play, like I thought we were causing them real trouble, and I think we'll take a lot of confidence out of that as well. But we're not too far, we're not getting off. As I say, when you win, you're never as good as you think you are, and when you lose, you're probably never as bad as you think you are. You're somewhere in the middle. So there's a lot of stuff we've got to work on out of that game. I think one of the big other learnings that we've had during the week, and I was just sitting in the change room there, was the outstanding leadership from Adzi this week. I think that's been his best week of captaincy. Like just the way he trained, his messaging was really simple, and then he backed it up through his own actions. And I think the boys really got in behind him and the rest of the leaders in the team. So for us, in terms of the growth of our team, I reckon that's a big milestone.
Yeah, I think Jack Maddox really came into his own in sort of the last 25-30 minutes or so, didn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Mad Dog's a special player, and I just think it was nice to see him play with some confidence. That the pass he threw to Marika was, that's the sort of stuff we want to encourage, and I thought he was having fun out there, which was important.
I think Jack will play Wallabies this year.
Who's that, Jack? Yeah, if I was selecting the team, he would, yeah.
Do you anticipate maybe affecting all your boys in that June series?
Yeah, I would hope so. I mean, it's probably unfair for me to comment really on that because I don't pick the team, but I think there's a lot of guys that are playing well, and I think particularly for me, a guy like Anaru, who's when I first met Anaru, he was 130 kilos. He had a gut hanging out the front of his pants. He was terrible. He was nowhere near playing top level Super Rugby, forget Test Rugby. And the fact that he's worked as hard as he has to get himself in the shape as he has, that shows an incredible mental determination. And I think as coaches, you're always looking for those people who are that committed to something, because if you're in a tough game 5 meters from the line, that guy's going to deliver for you because it means everything to him. So I think Bopper and should be really proud of the steps that he's made over the last couple of months. He's developing into a really world-class player.
What do you reckon of the yellow card?
Murphy's one? I think the rules are if you make contact with the head, it's tough, and I felt probably the ball carrier slipped down a little bit, but the rules are the rules, and I don't have a huge problem with it, to be honest.
Adam, how do you feel about Dave's comments that this is your best week as captain? Hoping to look back and do exactly the same next week, I guess.
Yeah, I think I'm obviously happy with that comment. I'm not upset with that comment, but obviously it's my first year as a captain, so really feeding off a lot of the other guys too within the team, and I really felt like Willie G missing. A lot of the other boys stepped up. I was really impressed with Michael Ruru today in terms of his composure. I know he's been working on that, and I thought he led really well in terms of direction when we had the ball.
Do you feel the same as Dave in terms of that sort of win can change the direction in where you guys are headed?
I personally think that winning on the road is very hard. It's my first win here in Canberra, and it's where I started playing, so it's pretty special to me to come here and win, and to see the character of the boys, the way they rolled their sleeves up. We knew it was going to be an arm wrestle, and to come out with the win, it's very pleasing.
Being in the context of the season though as well, the Tars going down over there in New Zealand, it's going to be a ding-dong battle between the two of you guys to get that final spot.
Yeah, absolutely. Like getting the win is positive, but we weren't perfect too. for now, I'm just really pleased at how the boys defended. There was a big period there. I don't know how long it was, but that was a massive moment in the game. And yeah, I was really proud of that from the boys.
You must feel pretty confident out there seeing Reece just go back and take a clutch kick like that in the last couple of minutes.
Yeah, I think Reece is a world-class player, world-class kicker, and he thrives. He thrives under pressure, and we'll back him to the hills to kick those penalties. But in saying that, I really felt like our bench really came on when we had possession. We didn't have much possession in the first half, and they really made an impact when they came on, and it's something we've been working on. And for them to get pay out of that, the boys worked really hard at training this week, and for the whole squad, including the staff, to get a bit of reward. It's nice going into the bye.
Put you on the spot a bit here, either of you can answer it. There are only 5,000 people here tonight. Obviously everyone wants to have bigger crowds, more people involved in rugby. What do you think we need to do to bring fans back to Australian rugby?
I think there's an old saying that you only fix the leak in the roof when it starts raining, and I think there's probably been a few things missing in Australian rugby over the last little while that has caught up to us now. And I think there are a lot of people working very hard behind the scenes to make some pretty significant changes. And I think of some of the stuff that's happening in coach development and the alignment between us and the national team and different things. I think those things are going to have an impact, but I don't think they're going to happen in 5 minutes. I think there's a bright future ahead for Australian rugby. I don't think everyone feels that at the moment, but the margin between winning and losing at this level is not massive, and things can change very quickly. There's a great if you look at all the teams that have won Super Rugby over the last couple of years and where they were maybe 2 or 3 years before they won it, very few of those teams are in the top 10. So teams go from out of the top 10 to winning it in a very short space of time. That's through the history of Super Rugby. So change is possible in a very short space of time if you get a couple of key things right. And I think there's a lot of good people on board that are working very hard to try to make that happen.
And just from a playing perspective, does a massive crowd, home or away, make a big difference? Or massive or small?
Yeah, obviously when you're playing in your home field, having that atmosphere and having the crowd backing you. But I still feel like even if the crowd is small, the Australian fans really do back their teams and they back them hard. Good footy solves a lot of problems, I think, mate. If the boys and the coaches really worry about performing week in, week out, the Australian fans get behind us. And that's something great about Australian sport, is that the fans, they really get behind the teams, and from being at the Western Force, having not very successful years, would still have die-hard fans that would come rain, hail and shine. I think that's the positive thing about Australian sport, is that the fans are outstanding.
Thanks, guys.